Ukraine invades Russia proper. 2 days ago, we saw one of the biggest incidents since the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war. Ukraine launched a raid or an assault 38 kilometers or 24 miles past the front line into Russian territory. Now, I'm not talking about Ukraine taking back land that was taken from them by Russia. No, Ukraine has crossed the Russian border and gone miles into Russia proper. There's multiple reasons why this is such a big deal and why anybody that's following this conflict probably sees it on every news outlet that they follow. Since Putin's full-scale invasion February 22nd, 2022, Moscow has dictated pretty much how this entire war has gone. They've done 99% of the assaults, 99% of invading Ukrainian territory, and 99% of striking into the Ukrainian homeland. The exception of maybe a couple very small raids that the Ukrainians have done past and beyond enemy lines into Russia, this is definitely the first major raid and invasion that Ukraine has done into Russian territory. Although Zelensky is not claiming that this is the Ukrainians, of course this is very common, it would be nobody else but the Ukrainians. Russian news sources are saying that over 1,000 Ukrainian troops entered the Kursk region, which is this region here, which is just past the city of Sumy. From my understanding, there's nothing very significant about this city or this region of Kursk, with the exception of this 15-vehicle large convoy that was moving through the Kursk region when the Ukrainians raided and completely annihilated it. I saw some footage, I'll post it here if I can find it. Basically these, I believe they're Russian civilians, are driving through the middle of this convoy and there's just troop carrier trucks filled with dead bodies. I believe it's all blurred here. But European intelligence sources say that there could have been upwards of 400 Russian KIA soldiers, which would make this the largest and most lopsided victory in the Ukrainians' favor since the invasion. Yesterday, civilians in the Kursk region and surrounding cities released statements and videos sent to Putin in Moscow. And they're basically saying they're scared, Putin's not protecting them, this should have never happened, the enemy should not have made it, the enemy, which is the Ukrainians, should not have even made it past the border, and they're pretty much losing faith in their government and their president. I personally think this attack by the Ukrainians could be one of two different things. The first, and in my opinion probably the most likely, my theory is that Ukraine is getting pushed back on most of the Eastern Front. So this was an attack out of almost desperation to pull resources from the front, attempt to spread Russian resources even more thin, and to pull Putin and Moscow's focus in a different direction while the Ukrainians possibly make advances on different parts of the front line. And my second theory, and a lot less likely in my opinion, that would be that Zelensky and the Ukrainians are going to make a push to Moscow. Again, much less likely, that's pretty much a suicide mission, but regardless, this is going to make Putin take a step back. He's going to realize that he needs to reinforce his entire western border with Ukraine, because it's now very evident that if Ukraine sees a weak point and an opportunity to strike a huge convoy or any other military or logistical assets, they're going to do it. I'm really hoping this is a tipping point where we start to see Ukraine get a lot more aggressive and start pushing into Russia, in the meantime taking back Russian-occupied Ukrainian territory. But regardless of what happens from here on out, this was a huge mental and physical win for Ukraine in the West. Putin got caught with his pants down, and this is a reminder directly from the Ukrainians that they're watching and they will take advantage of any weak points on that border. Anyways, that's it guys. This was just some really cool news. I wanted to share it with you guys. Like, share, subscribe. Also go check out my last video. It's about the pros and cons of the International Legion. I think you guys will like it. I'll link it in the description down here. Anyways, I love you. Peace.